All right, the item that was going to be the lead for this program until about 20 minutes ago, Drew Brees. According to Ed Werder of ESPN, Drew Brees doesn't just have a rib contusion. That was the report from NFL media earlier today. It's not ribs generally and vaguely. It is 5 fractured ribs on each side of the cage, along with a collapsed lung. And 3 of the fractured ribs were from the previous week. Now, I don't remember him being on the injury report with ribs. I just remember shoulder. That's a different issue for a different day. We know the NFL rarely, if ever, disciplines teams for not being entirely truthful on the injury report. For now, all that matters is the news from Werder of 5 broken ribs and a collapsed lung. That's a significant injury, and that tells me, Peter, we're not going to see 41-year-old Drew Brees for a week or 2 or 3 or more.
And, I think the thing you have to look at, Mike, right now, and it's hard, it's sort of hard to try to project going forward. But I think the thing you're gonna see now is some combination of Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. I don't believe that this job is going to one person exclusively. I think they're going to job share over the next few weeks. Fortunately for them, they've got 3-6 Atlanta, 3-6 Denver, and 3-6 Atlanta in the next 3 weeks. I'm not saying you win all 3 of those games with your eyes closed. You don't. It's the NFL. But, I'd be very surprised if this team right now, as you look at this schedule in front of you, I'd be very surprised looking at their schedule down the stretch if they blow the lead in the NFC South. And Mike, remember last year when Brees was lost and they had to play Teddy Bridgewater starting in that really tough game up in Seattle? I'll never forget this. Teddy Bridgewater basically took $5,000 of his own money or whatever it was, and he rented out this restaurant right near the hotel that the team went to in Seattle. And Teddy Bridgewater it was a night for the guys. Okay, everybody on the team, he invited the whole team. And I don't know how many came, 40 or 50, let's say. It was a night for the guys. And he said, hey, listen, he got up and he made a speech. And he said, I am not Drew Brees. I'm Teddy Bridgewater. But I'm going to give you everything that I have to make sure that we do not collapse, that we don't miss a step. And, of course, they went out and beat Seattle that week, played very well in Drew Brees' absence, so that when he came back, they were in pretty good shape. And look, here's the one thing that worries me, Teddy Bridgewater versus Jameis Winston, if indeed Winston gets the start, okay? We don't know right now if Jameis Winston is turnover Jameis. Even though he has gotten an entire training camp and 10 weeks of the season, getting it drilled into him by Sean Payton, take care of the football, all that. We just don't know yet, Mike, whether Jameis Winston is going to be an efficient player. And the other thing we don't know, if, let's say, they give a game to Taysom Hill. We've never seen that either. We've seen the tantalizing examples of Taysom Hill, but we haven't seen him play 4 quarters. So I'm really, really interested to see how the Saints play this. And look, his teammates, I can tell you this, Mike, his teammates love Jameis Winston. He has become a big team guy, and inside the team, they look at him. They've totally accepted him. They love having him on the team. So I'm very curious to see how Peyton handles this. He said today he wasn't going to announce who was going to start, and good for him. Why would he?
Yeah, here's the thing, though, and I try to apply a very basic linear approach because that's how my brain most easily operates. Last year, that officially unofficial depth chart that every team publishes on its website and then spends the full season downplaying. Last year, it was Drew Brees 1, Teddy Bridgewater 2, Taysom Hill 3. This year, all year long, it's been Brees, Hill, Winston. Hill is the next man up. So Peter, we hear it all the time. Next man up, next man up, next man up. Is it next man up or is it next man after? That's what's fascinating to me. And here's the other thing, too. This is a point Sims made earlier today on PFT Live. When Bridgewater was the starter last year for 5 weeks, the Taysom Hill package went away because Hill's now the backup quarterback. He's not the jack of all trades. So you're losing the Hill package either way. The question is Hill the starting quarterback or is Hill the understudy in the event that Jameis gets blown up and can't continue? So, look, they paid Hill all that money. We've heard comparisons to Steve Young by Sean Payton. Let's see what this guy can do. Let's respect the depth chart and let's put him out there. Let's find out once and for all whether or not he can be the guy after Drew Brees. And I think if he's not, maybe they already know the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sean Payton is going to look at his team this week and he's going to say, how do we use the quarterbacks we have on our roster to give us the best chance to win? I do not think that he's thinking, hey, what do we have here? I think he's thinking, let's try to beat the Atlanta Falcons and not be thinking about opening day 2021. So, Mike, I agree. I'd love to be able to see him, and I'd love to be able to see whether he's really, really good or whether he's got a lot of pockmarks on his game. I don't think that's what Peyton is thinking.
And that schedule, we had it up there. There's only one game that stands out with the proverbial sore thumb, and that's against the Chiefs, but they have that one at home. Then there's Christmas Day against the Vikings, and the Vikings have had their number in the postseason in recent years, not in the regular season. Those are the two back-to-back, again, both at home. And look at that. This is a weird end of season for the Saints, Peter. Once they play the Falcons this weekend, they're on the road for 4 of their last 6 with those last 2 back-to-back at home. I see 5 wins there, regardless of who's playing quarterback. And maybe they can even win 6. Maybe they can find a way to win all 7 if Brees is back by week 15.
Mike, it's why today in my column I said, and I realize it's absolutely ridiculously premature, but why not? I said, how about on Sunday let's say Saturday night of Wild Card Weekend, the prime time game on Saturday night, Wild Card Weekend, Tom Brady in a rematch at the New York Giants. And, because it's going to be, I think, look, that the NFL, let's just say there are 6 wild card games and not 8. Okay. But if there are 6 wild card games, they're going to put the 2 games that have the chance to get the highest numbers in those 2 primetime slots, Saturday and Sunday. One of them is going to have Tom Brady in it. All right. And I just think how hilarious it would be after 2007 and after 2011 if Tom Brady was staring down the barrel of the New York Football Giants to advance in the playoffs. On the road, the New York Football Giants, in what might be an awful bad weather day on January 9 or 10. I just find that totally delicious, quite honestly. I think it'd be so much fun to see.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's the way it's potentially shaping up. A lot of football to be played between now and then, but that's the one I'm now officially rooting for Wild Card Weekend, Saturday night.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.